Chapter 1. An Ode to the Button. What is life without a button? Something to press, something to cherish, something to devote to. Here we stand today, united and torn by its forces. In some ways, it represents something deeper. Chapter 1. The Button and the Human Spirit. The button and the human spirit reflect similar matters. Through anger and vile, they are incompatible with others, yet through companionship and mercy, we can achieve much greater. However, in the end, only one may be above others. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, yet the infinite stature of the universe still lacked. He had created good and standard, but not evil. The button brings out good, standard, and evil. In some ways, the button is more powerful than God. We are not its abusers, but disciples. Chapter 2. Political Science and the Button. In the elections of many a recent year, some have questioned the natural hierarchy of wealth and its presence in society. The button represents this too. The button is neither good nor bad, but an enabler of life and a machine of efficiency. This motto represents many eccentric figures in society today, from the company monopolizers to the owner of the smallest homeowners association. Power is made from efficiency, and always will be. The button does not feel, nor cry, nor lust. It is only what it is meant to be, and nothing more. Chapter 3. What can we learn from the button? We humans are creatures of impulse and emotion, whilst the button, the controller of this world, is not. Perhaps it is time we set aside our emotions, our anger, our sadness, and our joy, and embrace the greatness of the button in our lifestyles. This book was written by Custom Dev, head of the Evil Tower Association. Chapter 2. A reading from Watt's poem. And back we go. We all have to wait all that time again, and more, just for the next color. This is Hypixel all over again. Waiting mindlessly for the next color, just for it to be taken. And yet you all wonder, standing here on the pale oak slab, why? Why are you still here, standing below the pale oak leaves? As the particles fall from the sky, why am I still here waiting over bedrock masses throughout the plains of these wastes? And when we look, we see the root of it all. Each light represents an hour, but when we look inwards, we see it's so much more than that. Each hour shows the progression that is the journey of one's descent into madness. Hours upon hours, minutes upon minutes, seconds, all to hear the pressure plate tick, on and on and on. Then you still ask, why? Why are you still standing here? Just to see loss after loss. Why are you still standing here? Just to see the hours of time whip by. And yet, the rewards to real are nothing but whole hard consequences to fall for this wicked game. And yet, we still choose, not the individual, but a group of people determined to look at a machine, a clock, a pressure plate, over and over again. And for why, and for how long until the blue arrives again, how long until this wicked game is over, how long until the ruins of this hellscape fall with a final push. And yet, people still stand in this horrible place. For what? To finally feel the achievement of moving on to the next boundary, the accomplishment of the chains broken free from one color, and yet we still bound ourselves to these chains. Although the burden holds less, the burden is still there. Chosen to defend upon all of mankind until one individual rises above the rest and collects all the 6 colors of the spheres, not only establishing the achievement that man can reach to, but also the burden along the way. Each individual mistake and loss is still bound to us all. No matter who, no matter where, it all still ends up in this torturous hellscape. Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact thing over and over again, expecting something to change. No matter who, no matter where, it all still ends up in this torturous hellscape, in this empty badlands, in this desolate hollow world, and where only what can be described as the incarnate of hell resides, and where only hell can flourish. This is what it is truly about. The machine is not just a game. No, it is boundaries and limits that are far past that. No. This is no longer a simple machine that changes every hour or so. This is what the rebirth of what humanity can truly become. This symbolizes the alternative. But for why? Why do we play this cruel game? That is not but a question asked from our forefathers to generations to come. We stand here alone, although it may feel familiar. Please stop telling me to shut up. I am creating art. The essence of oneself in this world is truly alone. That is the power the button holds. Its spruce blocks and slabs held together with trapdoors, to the bits of circuitry and lampshades nailed together. To the button of which controls this devilish plan. All of it holds the power to bring out the worst of mankind, and symbolizes chaos peak from which we can surmount to it. And yet, the drop of happiness, success, accomplishments we get from a single button press to move to its next color is a relationship which I can only describe as one that is unfair, to say the least. And yet even that adjective cannot fulfill the true evil of this relation. How worth it is it to feel the dopamine rush through? How worth it is it to feel the excitement of one click? How worth it is it to feel the pain of standing for hours on end? And for all of this to surmount to nothing, just like the empty hell that created this in the first place. And when we take a look back and reflect on ourselves, and take a look at what to this has really done to us, but as an individual, but as a society, in the end, we can see how much this symbolism of hell has truly done to us, for decades to come, the effects of which aren't worth the end, and yet a group of us stay, although aware of this cruel twist, have nothing more to do but just stand and stare, and seize, in the end, how much time has been wasted, how much passion has been lost, how much that has been long forgotten. This is not what should happen. This is not the standard we should hold ourselves to. This is not how we should choose to be, because in the end, we're just a simple-minded organism living in the vast empty haunting that is space and time. And yet all through 8.025 billion of us are standing here on this spinning rock. It won't matter in the end. Because really, the space and time of this world is one that is vast and desolate, and yet that vast and desolate space can also be a metaphor to the space that is our button, the haunting landscape of what the button resides, of what we reside, of what it resides. 3